Have you ever thought that you had one shot, one perfect window to do something really important and really meaningful in your life, to make your life better and to make your future better? Well, I had that moment last year where everything was crystal clear for me that I needed to move and take advantage of a window of opportunity that was going to close quickly. In my mind, I had an opportunity to retire early by selling everything, but that the window was not forever. And that if I missed that window, it may not come back again for several years. And that would have been a big regret in my life. If you've been waiting for a window of opportunity in your life to make a big change and maybe get out of the rat race and start living your full life, if you've been waiting for your sign, this might be it. The first issue was the house. We owned a large house, 4-bedroom, 4-bathroom. It was only myself and my wife living in it, and it was beginning to feel like a boat anchor. We had a mortgage we had to pay. We had a $400,000 mortgage we had to pay. We had taxes of $1,000 a month. We had property insurance of several thousand a year. We had utilities, maintenance, and just the responsibility of having that home, that large single asset that you own and you're responsible for. It was beginning to feel like a boat anchor that was forcing me to work longer than I wanted to. And so I realized that I wanted to get out from that boat anchor, and cleaning a big house is a big deal. We had a basement, a finished basement, we had a ground floor, we had a second floor, and we had a finished attic. We had a big house. And as a couple in your 50s, you don't want to be spending time cleaning your house all the time. And I don't want to pay someone to come and clean my house. And this was the time. The market was rich. There weren't many houses available. And I didn't know if that was going to go on forever. Perhaps the market would crash in terms of real estate, and then I would have lost that window of opportunity to make a good profit on that house that I could use to put into my retirement funds. So that was something in the back of my mind that was niggling me, that now was the perfect time to get out of the property market, get out of my home and liquidate. The house was in perfect condition. It was 7 years old. Nothing was broken on the house. Everything was immaculate. All the appliances worked. So it was really just the perfect time. I didn't have to start putting money into the house in order to keep it up to its value. And so, like a car or like anything else, it needs maintenance and repair and upkeep, but I hadn't had to spend any money on that so far. So to me, that felt like a perfect time to sell it to somebody else that perhaps had a family that could take advantage of the large house and the large yard more than I would with my wife. The second issue was cars. So we owned 2 expensive German cars. I owned Audi A5 Coupe, and it was 7 years old. And luckily, nothing had gone seriously wrong with it. So I hadn't really put money into it other than normal maintenance and service checks. But that wasn't going to go on forever. You know that car is going to break, and when it does, it's going to get expensive. So again, I thought, now is the perfect window of opportunity to dump that car onto somebody else, cash out of that car, and put that cash to work for me in the market rather than wait for it to break and then guess what, have to buy another car that's going to last me another 7 years to get to retirement. It really didn't feel right. And similarly for my wife, she had another expensive German car, our Mercedes C350 Coupe. It was about the same age, and then once again, lucky for us, it hadn't broken down in any serious way. We hadn't put any big money into it. And so again, we knew that was going to change. It couldn't go on forever. And before it started to break and we had to put thousands and thousands of dollars into it, my thought in the back of my head was, let's get that car off our shoulders and get out of this trap that we're in where stuff's going to start breaking and we're going to have to start paying for it. And then we're going to have to potentially buy 2 more cars so we could commute to our jobs in America for another 7 years. It didn't feel right, folks, so I wanted to get out from under that burden. And around this time, I was feeling anxious that my window of opportunity was there, but was short. I also realized that the stock market and my investments in 401k and IRAs, those are the US retirement funds, were at all-time highs, and as were those of my wife. And guess what happens with all-time highs? They don't stay there forever. They go up and down. And we hadn't had a market crash of something like 40%, which has happened to me twice in the past. We hadn't had one in a long time. And I felt that, boy, this is really a good time to get out of this market and diversify my account into a more global balanced account rather than just the equity heavy stuff I was in. So I felt like I had gotten lucky and I had been patient. I started to get that feeling in the back of my head again. I said, if not now, then when? If not now, then what would be the next opportunity to retire? And I said, I've got something in my hands right now that I can deal with and execute on. Why would I wait any longer and risk losing the opportunity? We got debt-free because my wife got laid off and she got a severance package. So turning lemon into lemonades, we put all that severance package into paying off her credit card and also putting the remainder into our retirement account. So we were completely debt-free. So again, that was a sweet spot that played into this window of opportunity. So it was a now or never moment to lock in all these fortunate things. I believe life is 50% luck and 50% determination. And this was an auspicious time. And I really thought, what else am I waiting for good to happen to me? Let's just pull the trigger and get it done right now before things change. Things could have gone south very quickly and I would have fell back with great regret that I hadn't pulled the trigger and jumped through that window of opportunity when I could. So to summarize, the house was worth a lot of money. The cars were about to start breaking. The stock market could have tanked at any time. My wife was laid off. We were debt-free and I was still working. And that concoction, that recipe is what I call a window of opportunity. You have to jump through it. So what about you? What would your window of opportunity look like to retire early? What would it look like to you that would convince you that now is the right time? And let me know in the comments what you think it would take for you to say, yes, this is my time. And let me know what you think. So I'm back in Bangkok at the Marriott Sukhumvit, and it's a wonderful place. It's not for a long-term stay, it's just for a few days. We're just doing a few errands here in Bangkok, in case you're curious where I am. And if you're still on the fence about retiring early, check out this video on why it's probably a huge mistake to wait to 65 to retire. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.